I just lost all of the footage that I just did. Off to a great start. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jamie Lee Bones. Today we're doing things a little bit differently. Today is all about self-tapes. I submit so many self-tapes, and let me tell you why. Casting offices and casting directors, student films, however it is that you're beginning, a lot of the time when you are submitting for a role will request that you submit a self-tape first. This saves everybody time. It saves me gas money and the stress of having to go into the city. I love them. They're my favorite kind of audition. If you get a request for a self-tape, do it, because it is honestly the most stress-free experience in the entertainment industry to me. Personally, I love self-tapes because I have complete control over my environment, over what I want to do for the characters, over how I want to submit, like editing and stuff. So because I feel as though I have got a knack for it, granted I have some previous video editing experience, which sort of gives me a leg up in this department. If you do not have any video editing experience, don't worry, I'm gonna show you just some basic things that you can do to up the game for your self-tape auditions. Some of those things are going to require some equipment, but nothing is a necessity. Keep this in mind. Nothing that I say is must go. These are just tips and tricks that I have found out work well for me, and ever since I've sort of implemented this system, I've been getting a lot more callbacks or in-person auditions, which is what the goal is. You want them to see you as a person and meet you, and that's the goal. Before we jump, this is a long intro, but I promise we're gonna get to the nitty-gritty stuff of it. I've got a whole system laid out. I know this is not normally what you are used to seeing on my channel. This is different, this is new. I'm not a technical person. What am I doing trying to explain stuff to you? But I am a aspiring working actor, and I sort of want to put that more into my channel a little bit. Maybe do a couple skits, maybe do some more acting stuff. I don't know. It meshes into my life better if I include the actor-y stuff with the YouTube-y stuff. So moving forward, you might see some of these in your feed. I don't know. We're just gonna see how it goes. The regular stuff will still be there too, though, so don't worry. Okay, jumping in. I have broken this down into three steps or three categories. The first category that we are going to talk about is the setup. Now, setup is going to include what to wear, where you should be setting up your self-tapes, reading all of the directions of the casting notice, all of that business. That'll probably be in a future video of like what to wear to auditions or how to prepare for an auditions. Today, it's all about the technical of self-tape auditions. So we're not gonna include that. We're gonna just move all of those subjects to a different day. And because we're moving all of those things into a different day, I'm just really quickly gonna get into my audition gear. So I'm in my audition gear. This is my standard audition shirt. There are reasons why. Again, future videos, okay? So normally for self-tapes, I would not recommend having a background. It would more look like this. This is more or less what I would use for a self-tape background. Just a blank wall here, dun, 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 and my pretty face, and my light, and my camera, and my tripod. So the basics. But let's go back to our YouTube setup. So now that we have on what to wear, where to be, we are gonna move on to some of the equipment basics. Now, unfortunately, some of these are gonna cost you some money. They just are. But I go with the cheapest option available to me. So I will put all of the recommendations for any equipments or things that I use down below in the little description-y box thingy-majigger, and you can feel free to check it out and let me know what you think in the comments below. For a camera, you don't need anything fancy-dancy. You don't need a $400 camera. I use my iPhone. I use my iPhone and I use it forward-facing so that I can make eye contact with myself when I'm reading my sides to the character. It gives this effect of like there being another person here. But there is not. It's just me alone. I don't have a reader also. We'll get into that though. In addition to the camera, because I don't use a fancy camera and I just use my iPhone, I have this iPhone holder thing that I got. I think it was either on the Wish app or on Amazon. I cannot remember. Either way, it was cheap. I would highly recommend it if you are going to be using your iPhone for your self-tapings. Another piece of equipment that I would recommend would be a standard tripod. Now you can get these at like Goodwill or garage sales for super cheap. I just got the Amazon Basics one because it was cheap and they could get it to me in 2 days because I have Prime. So we covered camera, we covered tripod, we covered phone holder if you're using your phone. The next is my absolute favorite. Now throughout this video, as we get into things, I have a list of stuff that I recommend, but then there are the 3 big basics, which are going to literally change the game in terms of self-taping. So when you see like a gold star or whatever it is that I'm gonna be using to make it pop, that this is a big one, this is a big game changer, pay close attention. We have reached our first big game changer, which is lighting. Not everybody can afford or have the room to do so. I, again, went with the cheapest version on Amazon, and you know what? I think this is fine. This is fine for self-tape auditions, just as long as I'm not just dimly lit. It makes such a crazy difference in how you appear on the self-tape, and it also, I think, gives that professional quality that even though it's a self-tape, people are watching and they're saying, oh, this is professional, this looks professional. Now, if you cannot afford this light, or you know, you're on a budget and you're like, oh, I need to save up for the light, what do I do in the meantime, Jamie? Natural light. Natural light. Set yourself up with a window or something, because natural light automatically fills all of your little crooks and crevices, and it will still make you look like as the beautiful butterfly that you are. It'll make you look perfect. I just prefer having a light because, again, I feel like it gives that professional quality. For example, this is me with my light on, and this is me without my light on. I just don't feel like I pop from the screen as much without my light on, so I'm gonna put it back on. Oh, see, I don't know, I like it so much better. And maybe it's a personal preference thing, but I personally feel as though it gives a really nice touch. So that is our first big game changer. Next, in terms of setup, we are gonna go over some programs that I use to sort of edit together and export my self-tapes. Now this next one is our second big game changer. Back to back, one right after another. What am I thinking? What am I doing? This next program is called Wondershare Filmora. It's, I wanna say $60, which may seem a little steep. But if you're considering of only purchasing one of these game changers, like if you're like, oh, I really want to up my self-tape game, but like I can't afford the light and the program and whatever else it is she's going to talk about, this is the one thing you need to get, because if you can't afford the light, you can fix all of that in post with Wondershare Filmora. Wondershare Filmora. I, again, will put the link to download down below. They are not a sponsor. I can't believe that I just even said that. Of course they're not a sponsor. I don't get sponsors. I just really quickly am just gonna talk on the camera so that you can see some of the different effects that Wondershare Filmora can do to your film. You could go for like a really this thing, because I don't know what it's gonna be, or you can do one of those, or one of these, or you could just go freaking crazy with it. It's insane. You can literally do so much. The one thing that I will warn against with this program is if you don't have a light and you're trying to fix things in post, you still want it to look real. You want it to look natural. You want it to look like, don't give yourself oversaturated so that you really pop. So that's why I sort of pick this white background so that it's easy for me to sort of color balance against when I'm submitting self-tapes, if I choose to do that. Usually I'm on a time crunch and don't have time to do all of the color correcting, and I just leave it how it is because I have the light, which naturally sort of fixes it for me, thank goodness. The second thing that I want to sort of bring to your attention if you're gonna play with color correcting and stuff in Wondershare Filmora would be that if you go too much, it'll turn out grainy and gross like this. Like, it just looks so bad. So just be careful with what you're doing. Make sure you preview all of your effects beforehand. and you should be fine. But I would highly recommend this program for editing your self-tapes. It is the bomb.com. The next program that I use, I specifically use for when I do not have a reader, which is most of the time. Yes, my husband is here, but I try to get all of my self-tapes done while he's at work so that I don't have to worry about the awkwardness of like, oh, I need the living room, hun. Bye. So I try to do all of my self-tapes while he's gone, which means I don't have a reader. So I use Audacity to pre-record my own voice and I play it back to me while I am auditioning so that it's like I'm having a conversation. And I'll even put in little gaps where my character speaks, where I can like pause it and then I get out my line and then I subtly push play off screen. It really works for me. I don't know, at first it was kind of a pain, but now I love it because it gives me total control of everything. I have control over the reader. I have control over how long I want to take with my line, how long they want to take with their line. It is thebomb.com. That's the second time I've used it. Scratch that, not thebomb.com. It's epic.net. Sure, why not? We'll go with that. So the two programs, again, are big game changer, Wondershare Filmora, and then Audacity, which is actually free. So there you go, little tidbit for you for Audacity. Okay, holy mackerel. This video is gonna be so long, you guys. I'm so sorry. We have reached the second part. We're done with setup. Setup is done. You've got your lights, you've got your tripod, you've got your camera, you got your programs on your compooper. Now, it is time to actually record this shit. And for the sake of recording this shit, we're gonna go back to our plain background. We are back. So for recording your self-tapes, this is the part where I'm gonna tell you it is extremely important that you read all of your directions for your casting call, because sometimes for your self-tape, they want specific things. Now, I'm gonna just cover the basic of self-tapes, which is you slate and then you read the scene. So for a slate, usually you're like, hi, my name is blah, 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 I'm from blah, 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 and today I will be reading for the role of blah, blah, blah. Slate, done. Next is your reading of your sides, and I just happen to have some here. And now I'm gonna tell you something that you're not gonna like to hear. Though you should have your sides handy, this is a self-tape audition, and there is no excuse not to be memorized. You have all the time in the world to get this self-tape done. Do as many takes as it takes to get it right. You have to be off book. I would recommend doing multiple takes anyway, because then you have more to choose from. You have more, you can rewatch yourself back and you can pick the best one. So do it multiple times anyway, but make sure for each time you're off book. Okay, now we're at my favorite part 3. Big game changer, coming right up, be ready. This is the simplest one, and I personally think that it is great. Add some titles. I'm sure you've seen them on my YouTube video. You know what they are. I'm gonna give you a basic slate really quick so that you can see what I mean by adding titles and then going into a script. Here we go. Hello, my name is Jamie Lee Bones. I am 5'6" from Los Angeles, California, and today I will be reading for the role of Juliet in your upcoming production of Romeo and Juliet. Oh, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? I don't know the rest. Do you see what I mean by titles now? I don't know. Again, it may just be a personal preference, but to me, it comes off a little bit more professional. And it's the simplest of tasks, especially if you have Wondershare Filmora. That's what I'm gonna call her from now on because I cannot pronounce this freaking program. Wondershare Filmora. The next part of editing that I would suggest, not a game changer, but again, it's the simplest thing and I feel like it adds so much, is just add effects. Like fade, yeah, add some fades, or you know, just basic things that sort of just add a level of production value to your self-tape. Now wait, don't get crazy and start using some of these, or some of those, or even this one. Yeah, I know, it's cool, but don't. It looks amateur. Amateur hour, cut it out. No, stick to the basics of fade in, fade out. Okay, now let's switch it back over to YouTube, guys, because So we're back. I feel like I blabbered a lot for this video, so I'm just really quickly gonna go over what we covered today. We went over the 3 basic sections of self-tape, which include setting up, the actual recording, and then the editing process. And then with that, we had a couple game changers, which includes lighting, Wondershare Filmora, and adding titles or basic effects as part of editing. And then in addition, we went over some of the basic requirements for some equipment that I would highly recommend you get eventually or not. There's always some life hacks, man. If you can't get a tripod, get a giant stack of books, you know, whatever works. And with that, I think we covered self-tapes, guys. It's gonna be an incredibly long video and a ridiculous amount of time of editing. But I think we did it. If you guys have any questions about self-tapes, or if you have any suggestions, yes! If you have any suggestions for fellow watchers of this video, please put them down in the comments below. Questions are welcome too, obviously. I would do my best. But I think I could learn more as well. And anybody watching this video is obviously looking for some help, some helpful tips. So put them down below, your hacks for self-tapes, what you think adds production value to your self-tapes. Thank you so much for watching. I assume that if you are, it means that you are also an actor. And hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. My name's Jamie. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you liked this video or you liked me, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. If not, that's totally fine. I will not, that's a lie, I will take offense to it. Okay guys, I actually need to do my self-tapes now. So until next time, I will see you later.